Welcome back. If you're new around here, my name is Ellie and welcome to Small and Strong. This is my first video of 2023, which feels crazy to say. It's 2023. That last year just disappeared. It was a crazy year for me. I did incredible things and I'm so lucky for the opportunities I got, obviously making my TV debut in Hollyoaks. Like, who'd have thought that was ever going to happen, because I didn't. I've got a dog, I'm looking at him, he's here, but he's not going to come over it. I've got a dog, Ralph, he's now my little best buddy in the world. Like, it was incredible. I spent the summer travelling, I've been everywhere that I wanted to go. It's just been an incredible year, but it's made me realise that there's a lot of things I want to do slightly differently in 2023 that are inspired by 2022. So what I'm going to do today is tell you my disability focused goals, because it's been a big learning year for me in 2022. Obviously working now, I work in my wheelchair a lot and things like that, and I've realised I'm not a good wheelchair user. I'm not a good disabled person, I'm not a good chronically ill person. I mean, that is no secret. On this channel, you're very aware that I'm not the best. And I say that every time I'm giving advice, I say, but don't listen to me, because I mean it. Like, I've been a wheelchair user for 6 years and I still don't know what I'm doing. So that's why it feels important, and I've accepted that next year it's going to be a year filled with quite a bit of anxiety and a bit of stress and quite a lot of fear. And that's because if your goals don't scare you, you're not pushing yourself enough. And every single thing I've written down on my phone scares me. And that's why I haven't done them before. So we're going to give it a go. Now, you'll know that recently I've been in a flare-up, like months-long flare-up. So I think I'm just going to accept that as my new normal heading into 2023. And that is the reason for a lot of these goals, is because I've realised when I need to use my wheelchair, I don't do things. I don't leave my house. I don't take my wheelchair out. Like, if I do, there's a very specific reason. And a lot of that reason is to create content for you guys, is to have something to post on Instagram, is to have something to vlog about. Do you know what I mean? It's not doing things that I want to do because I want to do them, and it's not living my life because I'm living my life. So when I need my wheelchair, the rest of my life stops. And that's not a healthy or good way to be, especially when my disability is going to last forever and it's only going to get more dependent on the wheelchair. It's not good for me to sit here and not go out when I need my wheelchair. So let's get into the list. The first one is one that is achievable in the next 2 weeks. So we're starting off soon, and obviously I'm going to vlog doing them. First one is going to puppy training in a wheelchair. So Ralph is 4 weeks into puppy training. It's a 7-week long class. And as you may know if you've seen his TikTok, which I'll have above, he's going to be an assistance dog. He's training as my assistance dog. Why have I not taken him to puppy training in a wheelchair? Because I'm scared. That's the sole reason. That's the reason. I don't know what people are going to think of me in the wheelchair. I was scared it wasn't going to be accessible. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the things. But I've realised that's not on me. None of that's on me anymore. So we're going to go to puppy training in the wheelchair. And he's got to learn with me in the wheelchair. I've got to learn in the wheelchair for him. So it's an obvious one. We're going to do that. That's happening. The next one is, I love musical theatre. I trained in musical theatre. It's kind of my thing. And I've not been to the theatre in a wheelchair. 6 years. And every time I've been to the theatre, I've gone without the wheelchair and I've just been in pain, or I've just struggled through it. So we're going to change that this year. And I believe a lot of theatres have like deals for their accessible seats and things like that, and my local theatre is actually very good for that, because I have already been looking. So that's another one. We're going to go to the theatre. Another activity is accessible skiing. There was rumours floating around of my family going on a ski trip this year, and I've always been one for sports and like daredevil kind of sports, and I'm always the first up for anything. Like skydiving, sign me up, do you know what I mean? Isn't healthy, isn't good, isn't productive. and I'll have to do the accessible version. So obviously none of my body is strong enough to hold me up, never mind my legs skiing off in different directions. So there's an accessible snow zone near me where they have classes, and I like sit in the thing and an instructor skis down with me. I know my dad can ski, I do know that. I think my stepdad can ski, I'm not sure. But we're gonna make that happen as well. I've been looking into it, it's gonna happen, maybe. That's one of the ones, I mean, I'm scared of all of them, but that one scares me a little bit more. Because I know that I would love to do it able-bodied, like I know that I'd love to do that. So I'm just going to have to accept that I can't, and I'm going to have to do it differently. Another one that is similar to the theatre is live music events. I want to go to some live music events. I've never done a live music event. I went to JLS when I was like 13, big up JLS. But I haven't done it because, quite simply, I couldn't stand for that long. I can't pretend to be able-bodied for that length of time. From what I've seen, like, it's hard to book the tickets, there's a whole process, and then you may just not get them, and it's a lot of money for something that I'm not sure how it would go. But in the game of doing things we're afraid of, I might try and do that. I might. As with anything I'm coming up with, drop in the comments if you've done it, if you found a good way to do it, if you think I should or shouldn't do it, or if there's anything else you think I should do. Like if there's anything you think, I was scared of doing that and then I did it. Just put it in the comments. Put it in the comments and I'll think about it. The next one is a day trip to London in the wheelchair. London, I used to live in London for like 3 years. I loved it. Constantly like busy. It's my kind of place. It just suits me as a person. Since needing my wheelchair, I just haven't gone. I just haven't. And that's kind of sad. So I'm going to do that. It's not difficult to get to. It's not too far from where I am. It's achievable. I've already got 4 trips planned to go to London in January, and none of them have been booked in an accessible way. So that's slightly frustrating because they're all times when it would scare me. So it's gonna scare me all the time. I need to get over that. I'm gonna be scared the whole time anyway. But I want to set it up properly and set it up to go well. Because like once I've got a shoot, I'm seeing one of my really good friends performing at the National. Like these are things. I'm doing a little birthday trip because I'm about to have a birthday in January, so you best get ready for my happy birthday posts. But yeah, I've got plans that haven't been set up in an accessible way, so I'm gonna set up a specifically accessible way. And you never know, you might get a video about how to use the tube, because that just boggles my mind. I can't even, yeah, the tube, help in the comments please. The tube, what? Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. Anyway, moving on. This one is achievable soon. Using the disabled changing room. Using changing rooms, trying clothes on. I've never done it. In the wheelchair, I've gone, I would rather pick up the clothes in 2 sizes and return the one that doesn't fit, rather than going into the changing rooms. Makes no sense. It's difficult. It's a hassle. Just use the changing rooms, Ellie. So I'm going to do it. All of these involve me spending money, so it's going to be quite an expensive year. But it's important that I do it, because if I do it now, I can do it in the future whenever I like. Do you know what I mean? So another quite achievable one is going to a restaurant in the wheelchair. But even this, like, I overthink to a ridiculous level. Do I have to call ahead? What if I get there and the table isn't accessible? Do I want to transfer out of my chair and sit on their chair? What if the table's not high enough? What if they don't have an accessible toilet? What if the disabled parking's miles away? Do you know what I mean? There's just so many thoughts, and I don't know the answers to any of them, but I'm not going to learn unless I do it. And by restaurant, I don't mean McDonald's or Five Guys. I do look at Five Guys though. I mean like a Pizza Express, or like Wagamama's. How does Wagamama's work in a wheelchair? It's all benches. It's all rows and rows of benches. How does that work? Maybe I won't go to Wagamama's. Maybe that's like a 2024 thing to try. There's just so much to think about that I've spent 6 years avoiding thinking about it. So we'll try that one. Another one, I think I might ask for this one for my birthday, but I need to go to the gym in my wheelchair. I get so much out of going to the gym. I go to Pilates classes when I can. that's like changed my strength levels, because I ride a line of like there's an amount of exercise I need to do to stay healthy. It's not a case of I go to the gym to bulk up, although I like that. It's a case of I go to the gym so that I can continue with the activity levels of what I do now. And if I stopped, my health would just deteriorate. So it's an important thing. But I've never gone in my wheelchair. I know my gym has an accessible entrance because it's next to the one that I go through. And I've seen someone in the gym before with their wheelchair. I'm just scared. There you go. Again, she's scared. But I think I'm going to see about the personal trainers at my gym. I go to a Pure Gym, and Pure Gyms have personal trainers left, right and centre. So I'm going to look into getting a personal trainer who will just sort of go with me the first few times in my wheelchair, help me figure out how to use different machines. I've got ideas that I've seen on like TikTok and social medias and whatever, but it's never something I've put into practice. And I think the gym's quite a scary place anyway. Like, I just go in, do my class and leave. So I think I need a personal trainer to show me how to use things correctly, and then how to use things correctly for the wheelchair, like how to adapt things. So that's another, I feel like that's important for me, and it's something again that I've just avoided. Like when I'm in my wheelchair, I just don't go, and that is so ridiculously unhealthy that I need to change it, so I will. The final 3 things are big things. I don't like to do things by halves. I don't like to do, I'm not that person. So here's my final 3. Number 1, I want to go on holiday within the UK in my wheelchair. Last year, I took my dad and my brother to Wales. We stayed in the Wye Valley of National Beauty. Oh my goodness, they call it that for a reason. Didn't take the wheelchair, couldn't do half the things because my legs were tired, because I was tired. So I want to do an in-the-country holiday with the wheelchair. Obviously bring Ralph along, obviously, but like there's cobbles. Is it accessible? Is there an accessible place to stay? Are there going to be accessible things I can do? Because I ain't climbing no path. Do you know what I mean? I'm not climbing to go and see a view. Like, I need like a way to get there. Do you know what I mean? So there's just so much to think of, and I don't want to get there and then just be really sad and disappointed at what I can't do. But I will research my little heart out before, because I don't want to do centre parks. Like, that's, number 1, ridiculously expensive, and number 2, ridiculously expensive. I know there's other ones. I think there's forest holidays, but if there's anything else, put it in the comments down below and I'll have a look, because that's something I want to do. Number 2, another big one. I want to go out of the country on a holiday with the wheelchair. I go on holiday without my wheelchair a lot. I've never been on holiday with my wheelchair. I've travelled for work with my wheelchair. Like, I travelled to Latvia, that was with my wheelchair. That was my first time flying in my wheelchair. And at current, that was my last time flying with my wheelchair. So I'm going to change that, because that would be very helpful. Admittedly, it may be a holiday where I go and don't particularly do much. Like, I'm not an adventurous holiday really person anyway. Like, I'm happy to sit by the pool, sit by the beach, because I love getting that vitamin D, my Mauritian skin, just, oh yes. So I actually don't know if that's going to be scary or not. Do you know what I mean? Flying with a wheelchair, oh my goodness, the stories you hear. But I want to do it. I want to go on, like, maybe we do a family holiday, maybe we don't, maybe I just head off somewhere with a friend or something. We're going in the wheelchair though. I'm going in the wheelchair. The third massive one, I think this is the biggest one, and this is the one that's going to open all of the doors. Leaving the house independently in my wheelchair. I've never done it, ever. 6 years of using a wheelchair, I have not once left the house on my own in the wheelchair, ever. Because I can't push myself, I don't know how to get my chair in and out of the car when I can't walk, I can't carry things, I can't use my phone and push. It's just a scary thing. So I've always gone with like my parents, a friend. But the biggest thing that's going to enable all of these things to happen this year is my new wheelchair and my power assist. So it is quite dependent on when that happens and when that arrives. There's obviously things from this list that I'm going to do before that arrives, because they're achievable, and like restaurants and activities and stuff, that's doable. But holidays, I'm going to wait for my power assist to arrive. I'm also going to wait for the summer, because that's not a bit of me going abroad in the cold. So yeah, stick around, because that's all going to be happening this year. Obviously I'll video as much of it as I can for you. But yeah, challenge yourself to do something that scares you this year, because I am. I mean, I've got a whole YouTube channel based around being disabled, and I'm still a scared disabled person. Like, we're all in it together, we're all figuring things out. I'm sure you've got your own things to figure out. Let's do it. Let's just go and do the things. It's gonna be scary, but we're gonna get through it. But that's my 2023 disability goals. If you've got anything that you would suggest, I can't even pick up my phone. I need to buy a new phone that my hands can hold. Irrelevant. If you've got anything you'd suggest doing, or anything that you're doing this year, put it in the comments. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I genuinely do notice the names that crop up, notice the names that come up. I love it when I see a name come up across the social medias. Like, it's just so nice when I see someone who comments on my Instagrams, and then they find me on TikTok, and then, do you know what I mean? It's just a lovely thing. So yeah, I'll have all my social medias on this screen somewhere. They're also in the description box down below, so you can have a look there. Welcome to 2023. Let's see what happens.